So really, what would Pesach be without a message from the Nesivos Shalom? And we're coming up to the Yom Tov of Pesach tomorrow night. Will already be the Yom Tov, and the Nesivos Shalom has such beautiful, beautiful Torah, such beautiful encouragement, and such beautiful, in general, speaking about the Yom Tov of Pesach and how powerful it really is. And we didn't want to let this week go by, even though we don't have a parsha of the week this Shabbos, and this Shabbos will be Shabbos Chol Hamoed, but we definitely don't want to let it go by without something good from the Nesivos Shalom to take us into Yom Tov. And we say in the Haggadah, B'chol dor v'dor, in every generation, which means every one of us, Chayiv adam lirois es atzmai ki'ilu hu yatsa miMitzrayim. Very, very interesting thought, that in every generation, every person is mechuyev to see themselves as if they went out of Mitzrayim. That we're not learning a history lesson about people that once went out of Mitzrayim. You have to look at it that you went out of Mitzrayim. And this is actually something that really stands out about the mitzvah of Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim more than any other of the miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has done for us over history, over past generations, that dafka by this mitzvah, we need to see ourselves as if it happened to us. Every generation, every person. And really with this idea, we can explain a little bit about another thing that we're going to speak about at the Seder night. The Pasuk tells us, V'avarti be'eretz Mitzrayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself went over Eretz Mitzrayim ba'layla hazeh. Hashem went over Mitzrayim, and we know there was Makas B'chayres and Gulas Mitzrayim. So Chazal tell us, the Avarti, Ani v'loy malach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it himself, Kaviyachal. No malach. Ani v'loy saraf. Ani v'loy hashaliach. No messengers, no malachim, no one else. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when it comes to this, when it comes to Geula, actually taking you out of Mitzrayim, this is for me alone, Hashem says. And really, as we've mentioned in the past, we touched on it in last week's shir, that really what would have been the difference if we'd have left Mitzrayim through a malach or a shliach? I mean, after having worked and been in, through such avodah and such a troubled time in Mitzrayim, it probably wouldn't have bothered anybody if someone else would have taken us out of Mitzrayim, and we would have known Hashem is behind the scenes, but Hashem could have sent any messenger or anyone to take us out of Mitzrayim. What would have been the difference, really? So the Nesivos Shalom tells us that we need to understand what it means when HaKadosh Baruch Hu does something. Because had Geulas Mitzrayim been through a malach or a shaliach, it would not have been a Geulas Mitzrayim of Nitzchias. And Geulas Mitzrayim doesn't just consist, as we're saying now, of the physical going out of Mitzrayim. Geulas Mitzrayim encompasses and entails many, many other things about personal Geulas. And really, only that which Hashem does alone lasts forever. When Hashem does something, there's nitzchias. It's forever. Because the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as we know, is forever. Everything else comes and goes through the world, lasts a certain amount of time. But what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does, that's forever. And therefore, for many reasons, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to be the only one, and the one who he himself, Kaviyachal, took us out of Mitzrayim. Even though all the makas we know were done through Moshe Rabbeinu, but when it came to Makas B'chayres and Yitzias Mitzrayim, this is only through HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'chvoidoi Uva'atzmai. And it is for that reason that the mitzvah of Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim, when we say B'chol dor v'dor chayev adam liros es atzmai ki'ilu hu yatsa miMitzrayim, is because there's an itzchias to that. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself took us out of Mitzrayim. As the Pasuk tells us, L'ma'an tizkor es yoim tzeischa me'eretz Mitzrayim. Therefore you should remember the day that you went out of Mitzrayim, Kol Yemei Chayecha. And you know, we'll mention in the Haggadah, it's mentioned in the Mishnayos, you know, that when we say Kol Yemei Chayecha, it includes other things too. It includes not only the days, but the nights. Doesn't only include now, but includes Yemoisa Mashiach, right? We say Lahavi, Yemoisa Mashiach, that we're always going to talk about, we're always going to speak about Yitzias Mitzrayim, a pasuk in the Torah. Nesivos Shalom brings a Rav HaKadosh Mikoshnitz, Zechusa Yogan Aleinu, and he teaches us a deeper thought and a lesson in this, B'chol Dor V'Dor, Chayev Adam Lirois Es Atzmai, Ki'ilu Hu Yatsa Mitzrayim. Something a little bit deeper. And we need to know that aside from the physical Yitzias Mitzrayim, as we mentioned, that is a spiritual Yitzias Mitzrayim that we need to know about, we need to think about, and we need to feel it when it comes to the Yom Tov Pesach. And on this night of Pesach, every person has to really see themselves doing this Yitzias Mitzrayim too. And we need to know, and it's important to know, we need to internalize this message, that on this night, a person actually has the ability, listen to these words that the Nesivos Shalom says, a person has the ability to change their mazel from bad to good. That if you have a bad mazel for some reason and there's something going on with your life, you have an opportunity and a chance to change from a bad mazel to a good mazel on the night of Pesach. And that is called Yitzias Mitzrayim, extricating yourself from your spiritual level and your spiritual matziv. In other words, you have the capability of changing a gezerah ra'ah, chas v'shalom, right, a gezerah ra'ah, to a one that is toiva. And that is the spiritual Yitzias Mitzrayim that everyone has to believe in tomorrow night when you come to the Leil Pesach. And that is really what the Haggadah is telling us, B'chol Dor V'Dor. That every one of us has to approach the Seder tomorrow night. We have to approach the night, the Yom Tov of Pesach. That whatever's going on, whatever Yeshuas you need, whatever you want to change, whatever you need to change, be mispalel for yourself, for somebody else, for your family, for people around you. Everybody has things that they can do and they can change. Everyone wants to be better. Everyone struggles with things in their life, and like we always mention, it's not a time to judge other people, not a time to tell other people, yeah, I think this is the time you should change, and Pesach, I think this is for you. No. We all know that it's for every single one of us. And you have a chance on that night. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh writes in Parshas Balak, the Pasuk says, Kel Moitzi'am Mi Mitzrayim. Kadosh Baruch Hu is a God, Moitzi'am Mi Mitzrayim. And it's very interesting that the Torah uses a lashon of Moitzi'am Mi Mitzrayim. That he is taking us out of Mitzrayim, currently, in the present, as opposed to what we would think the pasuk should tell us is Hoitzi'am Mi Mitzrayim. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out of Mitzrayim, yet it says a lashon of, a current lashon of that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is taking us out of Mitzrayim, and that's the message we're trying to deliver today, that the pasuk gives us proof that Yitzias Mitzrayim is something that is constantly going on. It keeps on coming around every single year. And the reason is, B'chol Dor V'Dor, Chayev Adam Lirois Es Atzmai. Every single year, you have a chance to do your own personal Yitzias Mitzrayim, to make yourself a better person, and to come out a different person on the other side of the night, or in Golus. We have two Sedarim, so of course we could say it's by both Sedarim, on the night of Pesach each and every year. The Koyach HaKedusha that was there, B'Shas, Yitzias Mitzrayim, where we were elevated, the Koyach HaKedusha comes back. The Koyach to have that personal Yitzias Mitzrayim. So the Torah uses a lashon of Moitziam, a current lashon, because we're not just talking about leaving Mitzrayim some 3,000 years ago. That's not what we're discussing here. Just we're talking about every year a hischadshus of the koyach of Yitzias Mitzrayim. Chazal tell us, and it's something that's kedai to know also, that even physically, every one of our neshamas was actually at Yitzias Mitzrayim. They talk about Yitzias Mitzrayim by Matan Torah, but every one of our neshamas was there. And the Gemara Masechta Pesachim Daf, the Gemara Masechta Pesachim brings down that Rava says that we need to add when we say that we're going out of Mitzrayim, V'oisanu hoitzim misham. That not just HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out of Mitzrayim, V'oisanu hoitzim misham, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out of Mitzrayim. Because we know, of course, it comes around, like we mentioned, that you could have your own personal Yitzias Mitzrayim, but understand that it's also physically. We were actually there. We were part of Yitzias Mitzrayim. And if we were part of Yitzias Mitzrayim, then it's not just a historical thing of our ancestors, past generations, people long ago. We were there physically in Mitzrayim. Our neshamas were there. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mamish took us out. And so too we have on parallel, we also have that we have a spiritual Yitzias Mitzrayim of that night. But remember, when we say Hashem took us out, but we were mamish there. We have a chelik of Yitzias Mitzrayim in us, and you know what it is? It's the emuna of that time. Kadosh Baruch Hu got out of. Kadosh Baruch Hu took Bnei Yisrael out of Mitzrayim b'schus emuna, because despite the hardships and despite everything we went through, we still believed, and we put our belief. We put our belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do, only HaKadosh Baruch Hu could provide Geula. We need to believe that we, on a Seder night, we could do wonders. We can change ourselves. We could be a different person. Don't let anyone tell you afterwards, no, you're the same old person. No, you have to know what you know. You have to know that you were serious about it and you wanted to make a change. And you made a change, and you'll be a different person after Pesach. Happens to be, I saw a vort. Usually, right, we stick only to Nesivos Shalom. I just want to end with a vort from Ramailach Biederman. Beautiful Haggadah that Ramailach Art Scroll, Ramailach's group, put out this year. And there's a vort in there about believing on Seder night. And, many people, that we say, or at least we believe, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the only one who could do anything. It's not you who makes your money in your business, who does things, who attains things and does things in your life. Everything's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yet some people still feel that really it's me doing it, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of course, gives me all the help. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives me, it's a joint effort between myself and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu picked the right person to do the job, to make the money, to provide, to do other things. Ramailach says, we say in the Haggadah, Echad Chacham, the Echad Rasha, right? Different children that we speak about, different types of people. Echad Chacham, the Echad Rasha. Zok Ramailach, that Echad, a person who believes and understands that there's no one and nothing else besides HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's a Chacham. But if it's Ve'echad, HaKadosh Baruch Hu also, it's me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, your boss, you're this, you're that, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you put your emunah, if you put your belief in anything else, anyone else, not a friend, a boss, a co-worker, somebody that's getting you forward in life, if it's ve'echad, then that's already a Rasha. Echad Chacham. Remember, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one and only, and we could all be mispalel, and we could all change. We could all come to this Pesach, and with the lesson of the Nesivos Shalom, to say we are going to be different people after this Leil Seder. I wish everyone a Chag Kosher v'Sameach, a beautiful, wonderful, and restful Yontif, and an elevating Yontif that every single one of us should learn the lessons and come out different people.